Hello bakers, welcome back to the Cakers channel. On this channel, we make all sorts of cake. And this month, I decided to challenge myself with making this hyper realistic pineapple cake. If this is a video that you want to see and you're eager to see how I got it done, make sure you smash that like button and make sure to stay connected from start to finish to see step by step how I decorated this hyper realistic pineapple cake. All hyper realistic cake starts off with some carving. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm using a long serrated knife to do some carving. Don't worry too much about the mountain of icing on that cake and how the different colors you're seeing. I literally did about 3 cake designs on this cake before I decided to turn it into my pineapple cake. So I'm just cutting down the sides and shaping it up to form the shape of a pineapple. As you can see behind the counter there, I have 2 real pineapples looking at that will help to guide me with my shapes and everything. Once I'm happy with all the carving that I've done, I'm using some buttercream to apply a nice crumb coat to this cake. Once I've covered the whole cake with the buttercream, I'm going to be using a flexi smoother just to smooth that buttercream out. And of course, something's going to happen. I wasn't happy with how big this pineapple cake was, so I went ahead and carved it down some more to make it look a bit more straight than rounded. A crumb coat is that first layer of buttercream that you put onto your cake to trap all the crumbs. So when you move on to your next layers, it will be crumb free. While my cake is in the fridge, I'm working on some fondant, giving it this light yellow tint with some food coloring. And that is the pineapple skin mold that I'm going to be using. I didn't buy that mold, I made it. So I bought some silicone putty from Amazon and I pressed the silicone putty into a real pineapple, let it harden, and then I took it off. And that's the amazing effect that it gave me. I will have a video on how I made that, to stay connected for it. Guys, if you're loving this video and you are very excited to continue watching, please go ahead, like this video, make sure that you are subscribed, and share the channel with your friends, alright? Before I put on my fondant, I sprayed my cake with some water. So I only have water in that spray bottle. And all I'm doing is just covering the entire surface of this cake with those little pineapple skins. I had to cut here and there to make things fit, but because of the texture of the pineapple, the joining parts will not show too much. Now, on to the hard part. I had to cut out some tiny little strips of fondant to put on every single section of that pineapple to make them look as if they're growing out of the pineapple. My aim was to get this pineapple looking as realistic as possible. I really enjoyed doing it, but believe me, it took a whole heap of time. At one point, I was ready to throw everything down, but when I saw how the whole thing was coming together, I'm like, this is indeed a labor of love. I stuck it through with the support of my TikTok viewers, and we did it. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Once that's done, I'm mixing some colors, some green, some yellow with some rejuvenator spirit to make a paint to paint onto some wafer paper to make the pineapple crown. What is a pineapple without its crown? This part was very challenging. It was hard to get the wafer paper to stand up. I worked around it and I'll show you how I did it in the end. So they're sitting aside and they're drying now. While they're drying, let's get on to the fun part. I mixed some yellow and some orange in my airbrush and I'm spraying my pineapple. I'm changing the whole color to that light bright color because I'm a tropical girl. I'm all the way from Jamaica. I want this pineapple to be looking ripe and juicy and just ready for you to bite into it. So I want it to be on the riper side, ready to eat side, all right? Once I did the orange and yellow covering, I went in all the grooves with that green color. It did take some time for this pineapple to start coming together. I'm just spraying all the little sections again with that orange just to give it some life. At one point I was like, holy crap, what am I doing? But guys, whenever you're doing these hyper realistic cakes, you just have to trust the process, okay? This is the moment where I say, holy crap, I think it's coming together now. And I just continue spraying that little black color in the groove and some more orange all over the cake. My aim is just to layer those colors, add different layers of colors, different depths here and there. And it was coming together. Look at that. At this moment, guys, I was super, super proud of myself. I'm going all over the cake now, and I'm going to be spraying all the little strips of fondant that I paste onto the cake. I'm going to be spraying them and painting them with some white, because if you look on a realistic pineapple, those little bit looks like some dry leaves, so the white paint will bring that out a little bit more. Now on to sticking the crown onto this cake. What I had to do was to get another sheet of rice paper because those wafer papers were still very wet and flabby. So I got another piece of wafer paper and I pasted to the back of the one that I have that was wet. And it worked out well because it gave me, you know, the underneath of the pineapple crown as a lighter powdery whitey color. So when I paste the clean wafer paper on the back of the one that I painted, it gave me these 2 layers of color and it worked really well. What I stuck onto the top of the cake was some fondant, and I'm just cutting tiny indents into the fondant with an X-Acto blade and sticking all of those wafer papers all the way down to the base of the crown. It is now time to do some finishing touches to this cake, and at this moment I was just skinning out my teeth, laughing, super happy and super proud of all the hard work that I put into this cake. If you have any questions, make sure to ask them down below in the comment section. If you have any recommendations for future videos, go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section as well. Make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Before I end this video, I want to give a big shout out to Side Surf Cake Studio. Believe me, your pineapple cake video really helped me with making this hyper realistic pineapple cake of my own. You did the method where you painted onto the cake, so I thought, let me do something different and let me try to make my video a little different from yours. And I used my airbrush to create the colors and textures onto my cake. That is proud me comparing my cake with the realistic pineapple cakes. And look at that, they're so close, guys. The following day I did a crazy photo shoot with this cake. You will see the videos in my short feed. If you enjoyed this hyper realistic cake, I did a few carved cakes, so you can click the link on top of the screen to watch my bunny cake tutorial. If you love this pineapple cake, you will love that bunny cake even more. Until next time, keep on baking.